All right, what's going on, guys? This is Logan with West Desert Wheeler. This is going to be both an awesome and potentially a bad thing for some of my viewers here. This is my new build from Rock Pirates RC. Now, this is all awesome. The downside is I got rid of my Exo Capra cage and took all the internals and put it into this chassis. So no more Exo Capra on my channel. That's all good. We're moving on. You know how things go around here. We got to keep content fresh. And I turned the Vanquish Capra axles into a Class 3 Ultimate Rock Pirates RC build as of 2023. This thing is fully decked out and it's got lots of goodies. So right out the gate, up top, we've got the SCX10 Pro body, and it was actually painted up by one of my local buddies here, Jason. You can find him on Instagram at Bonehead RC. So thank you very much, Jason. I cannot paint like this, so I'm really glad that other people do, and that it was available. I picked this body up at Spec RC. Jason has multiple bodies down there that are all painted up. You kind of just pick whatever you want off the shelf. And Cody over there at Spec RC in St. George, Utah. It's a hobby shop down there. Be sure to stop by and check it out. Spec RC has helped with a lot of these parts as well. But yeah, picked up the body. It looks awesome, and really just, you know, the cherry on top. It's really what set this thing off. I was considering doing like a cliffhanger or a cab only cliffhanger, and then I saw this on the shelf and I was like, I gotta put the Pro body on the Pro chassis, which is actually a Rock Pirates Kraken chassis. So let's pull this off and let's take a closer look at what's going on underneath. All right, guys, so let's break this down piece by piece and hopefully not go on too long about it. So we've got our Rock Pirates Kraken chassis here, and this one's got the gray chassis with the laser engraved Kraken tentacles all going through it. Super cool product available from Rock Pirates. So let's cover all the Rock Pirates goodies while we're talking about them. In the center of the chassis, we've got the Rock Pirates blank skid plate, which means that I had to drill out the skid plate for the transmission that I'm using. We've got Rock Pirates chassis spacer kit. We've got multiples of those going on. I've also got the cross brace in the rear of the truck there. That adds triangulation and rigidity to the rear of the chassis. We've got their comp bumper up front, which has got a nice little stinger portion on the front. You can also bolt a fair lead to it. Really sweet newer product that they're offering there, and they just came out with the black version as well. Although, as you can see, this is a pretty much a silver build here. We've also got the Rock Pirates body mounts going on. We have the boat side 7-inch wide Rock Pirates sliders. So on these, the boat sides mean that the hardware that holds the slider on sits on the inside up on top here. And yeah, it gives you an upward angle, but then your body is still held in place at the same height on the outer edge. So you get boat side is a common term in the rock crawling world, where you have a big flat sheet metal that goes from the bottom of your chassis up to like your rocker panels, basically. So really cool design there, and I'm a big fan of them. These are also a little bit lighter weight than their standard 7-inch sliders as well, so that really helps out. So going to the center of the heart of the truck here, we've got a different kind of transmission that I want to share with you guys. This is from Exo RC, and so this is a carbon fiber plate. You can see all the gears inside. I mean, it's just wide open. You can move the gears if you want. Very minimalist, lightweight transmission, and this is their Alpinist transmission. So super cool, and a really cool feature on this is it has 2 outputs on the rear of the transmission. One of them, which I have my drive shaft hooked up to, gives you a 28% overdrive option, or you get a 1-to-1 front to back where you can just hook it onto the left side. Now, this is really key with this build. I'm gonna move this Rock Pirates RC stand. Very handy to have if you're working on your trucks. What's really cool about this is I have Vanquish Capra axles, and they have an offset differential. Now, the issue here is that they only make it for a front axle. So if you buy a second and flip it around, well, then your differential's on the wrong side of the truck here. So having this transmission where it has different offsets of your outputs on the transmission keeps my drive shafts in line and really makes everything a little bit cleaner. It takes less of the angle on the drive shaft to make it work. So I'm really happy with that, and I like how it turned out. So really cool transmission there, very lightweight, again, built-in overdrive, super cool. And on top of that, a forward motor mount puts the weight of your motor forward and low, which is what I'm after. The motor in here is a Hobbywing Quick Run Fusion 2300 kV Fusion Pro. Really smooth, awesome motor here. Big fan of the Hobbywing products. I've got them in just about all of my cars. Real quick in the electronics, we got a FlySky GT5 receiver that goes inside of this Axial base camp receiver box. And the way I mounted this is I just drilled one little hole in my rock slider here and then ran a screw up into the receiver box. And that's also going to very water resistant. It's gonna make my receiver very water resistant. It's not gonna be waterproof. There is still a gap here with the way I have it set up, but it's much better than just being glued to the slider, which is how I run the majority of my trucks. Taking a look at the other slider, we got our 1400 milliamp pack here, but all this battery tray is just a SCX 10.3 battery tray that I actually bolted into the chassis going through the backside of these little battery stops, I guess you could call it. So these are screwed into the chassis and then sit on top of the slider. They work out really well. I really like the 10.3 shorty battery trays here. I've got them in my class 2 and now my class 3 truck. So that works out really nice, and the width is just about perfect for these 7-inch wide sliders. For the drive shaft duties, we've got Incision drive shafts, which are the metal ones with the real beefy universal joints. Been running these for a while, and I'm a big fan. You can get a lot of angle on them without any issues, no binding, which was very important on my Chupa Capra where I had the output and then reaching all the way across the car to go to the offset rear diff. With this transmission, it really takes a lot of that out of it, so these are pretty sweet. So pretty standard stuff there, liking that. What I did for a link kit on this, because this is a newer combination here. So Capra axles, Capra based axles, and then a Rock Pirates blank skid. So it's essentially an Axial SCX 10 Pro chassis. It's very similar, and you're gonna have very similar link mounts on here. I took Hardcore RC G-Shot links. So it's designed for the G-Speed skid to go to Capra axles. G-Shot link kit bolted right in here and gave me just about the exact wheelbase that I wanted, which is right around 12.8 to 13 inch. So right where I want to be with my own tires here. We'll get to those in a second. But the link kit worked out great, and really happy with how it turned out there. The only thing is I had to put just a little spacer on the inside of the upper links there, just to make sure that the rod end stays away from the chassis and allows everything to move freely. Steering duties going out to Reefs RC. In the rear, we've got a direct power Reefs 777. This thing is rated up to 3S, very fast, very strong, works excellent as a rear steer servo. And then up front, we've got our Reefs 900 Smart Servo. Big fan, these things are awesome. You can get in there with a Reefs Link tool and program a few different options into these. This one's just straight out of the box, running off the internal BEC of my Fusion as of now, but I'll probably add a BEC later. Going from there, on both servos, we have Vanquish servo horns into the Vanquish Axial Capra housings. It's like Vanquish F9 Capra housing or something. They're aluminum, they're the silver finish, but big fan of these. These have held up to a ton of abuse and a lot of really big falls. And they're not clean right now, but that's all good. In the front, we've got SSD knuckles and outer portal covers that are brass. In the rear, I run aluminum treel knuckles because I don't want weight in the rear of my knuckles. I only want weight up front for how I like to set up my rigs. For shocks connecting the axles to the chassis, we've got Deluxe Dravtex. They are 96 millimeter in their pretty gray finish here. Moving on to our wheel and tire setup. Standard 2.2 wheels that I was running on my Chupa. These are from Spec RC. These are compatible with Vanquish hubs, and I've got Vanquish scale hardware with 225 hubs on there. Spec RC, American made CNC'd wheels. They are custom and they're really awesome. The way Spec RC works is he will open up books on occasion for a type of wheel, say a standard width, standard 1.9 wheel, or maybe his 1.9 comp cut portal axle wheels that he offers that fit over Axial Capra portals and SCX 10.3 portals. And you choose the design you want, and then he will make them to your order. So a lot of the time his site says out of stock, but if you follow him on Instagram at Spec RC, you can see when the books open up and you're able to get wheels. So on these wheels, on the inside of them, they actually have a little V-notch groove, and SL3D RC, they make 3D printed tire inserts specific to this tire that I have here. And he also went out of his way and made those lock into those 2.2 Spec RC wheels. So if you have 2.2 specs, let SL3D know, and he can get you some that will lock into these. And these things don't move side to side at all. They don't side hill, and they don't shift around on the barrel of your wheel either. So super locked in. Thank you very much, Neil. I really appreciate that. And finally, the tire on the outside here. These are my own custom handmade WDW cut and shuts. These are available on my website. It takes me a while to make every set because they're made by hand, and you know, it's hard to keep up with the demand here, guys. So if you follow me on Instagram at West Desert Wheeler, typically I will post up on my stories when these are available and going live on my site. But what they are is a standard 1.9 Proline crawler. I cut up the sidewall across the tread and down the sidewall, and then I insert an added piece of tire and then glue them together. And these are called a cut and shut tire, and it ends up making them a taller tire, but they're the same 1.9 width. Proline does not offer a 2.2 crawler, and I really like this profile. I wanted a little bit taller tire, I don't want a wider tire, and I love the scale look that it offers. And especially once these are all scrubbed in and rubbed on the rocks, you can barely tell where the seam is. When they come out just brand new, you can usually see the glue line, but after some crawling that breaks away and looks really good, in my opinion at least. So guys, that about wraps it up on the build breakdown of my Rock Pirates Kraken chassis. Again, this is basically modeled after the SCX-10 Pro. It's a replacement rail set for an SCX-10 Pro, so if that's what you have, you can get these and add a little flavor to your SCX-10 Pro, or you can do a full custom kit like I did. I had the axles, I bought some links, I got the skid plate, and then I just grafted it all together and made it up as I went. So overall, really happy with the new truck. You guys have been seeing the B-roll footage of me out there crawling, and this thing is pulling off some wicked lines already. I haven't adjusted a link, I haven't added any weight, I haven't put my D's bands on there that I need to put on there. But yeah, this thing coming out of the gate swinging, very, very high performance. Awesome belly clearance with the angled skid from that Rock Pirates Kraken, and then the high clearance links from Hardcore RC give me just that little bit extra as well. As I'm coming across obstacles that would typically belly out on my buggy, I now have added clearance to get the rear tires to bite. So, hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. Be sure to hit those Instagram links down below. Hit the affiliate links down below as well. If you guys are shopping online, if you pick up parts through those links, it helps me out, kicks me a couple bucks, and lets me be able to keep doing what I'm doing, bringing you guys content and, you know, building new trucks, which I'm really excited about. So thanks to all of my sponsors who helped make this build possible. Our friends over at Rock Pirates RC, at Sky RC, at Spec RC, SL3D, lots of awesome components in here, and I really appreciate all the support. So thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Keep the rubber side down.